Everyone, welcome in. Today we are going to work around the upper body, shoulders, and heart. I feel like in yoga practice, we get so much attention for the hips and the lower body. So today I want to really bring in some loving for our shoulders, our arms, our hands, our wrists. And so you're going to want a strap for sure for your practice today. And a blanket's always nice for the knees, and I'm going to grab two blocks as well. So take your time to grab what you need. Today will be a short, brief practice. So you can fit it in hopefully on a lunch break or before you head out to work for the day, and hopefully should be really accessible for everyone. Grab what you need, and I will meet you on the mat in just a moment. Okay. I tried to put the curtains down for the window today so you can see a little bit better, but there's still a lot of light shining in at this time of day. So we'll start in an easy seat. If you'd like, you can be up on a meditation cushion, or a folded blanket works well if you've got a cushion around. And settle in. We'll get moving really quite quickly here, but we do want to settle in and take a moment to land all together first. So you can take your hands in any gesture of mudra that feels great for you, or simply rest them onto your lap. And if it feels right, you can close your eyes to take a simple moment to kind of set intention and get a roadmap for where we're moving together this morning. So this flow is going to focus on strengthening and opening the shoulders and arms, and really thinking about balancing both effort and ease. So perhaps you've worked with this concept before from the Yoga Sutra as sthira and sukha, a steadiness and also a sweetness and a softness, which is certainly what we want when we're thinking about our shoulders and upper body. So, encouraging you to develop both stability and presence, as well as releasing and softening any forms of tension that might be unnecessary, particularly as you hold in shoulders, neck, traps. We can kind of get these sorts of shoulders going on, and if we're not paying attention, we're not careful. So a really great practice for anyone that spends a lot of time working on the computer, or to counter upper body things like weight training, where we're building a lot of intentionally building a lot of tension to build muscle, or anyone carrying around, schlepping around babies and kids and all the things. This is a really common area for stuff that would benefit from being addressed. So that's our intention today. And I love this Chinese proverb I'd like to share with you all as a little bit of an anchor for the practice as we move through today. You might consider it, and perhaps it will be helpful for you. It says, tension is who you think you should be. Relaxation is who you are. I love that. Such a great reminder. So as you notice yourself leaning too much into the effort and the tension of the practice, remember that relaxation is who you actually are. So you can approach this practice with a lot of ease, and know that it's really intended to be nurturing for the shoulders and for the upper body. So landing down into Sukhasana, if you've been elevated up on a blanket or meditation cushion, you can go ahead and set that off to the side for now. And perhaps swap the crisscross of your feet or ankles. So you're going to come to the non-habitual side, just because we always have a kind of a favorite side in our body and tend to land that way. Okay, so take a seat and a few rolls around, beginning to stir the pot and invite in a little bit of movement after that brief hold and stillness to start. You can reverse the direction of the movement if you'd like. Of course, head and neck can come into that movement. Hmm. And then go ahead and slide back towards center. Take your wingspan out wide. And then as you come to center, wrap your right arm underneath your left. So looking for like a Garudasana variation, you might reach back towards your shoulder blades. If you like that full-on approach to Garudasana, it could be backs of the hands or palm to palm. So you choose which one works for you. And then on your inhale, you'll lift your elbows, whichever variation you're in. And on your exhale, lower your elbows and round your back. Notice the space that's being created between your shoulder blades. If I seem really peppy, I just came out of a kapha pacifying practice. So really kind of energized and clear right now, but you can certainly move at a slower pace. Inhale to lift your elbows and exhale to draw your elbows toward your navel, finding that space between your shoulder blades. This time, go ahead and rise, take your wingspan out wide. And as you hug in, it's left arm underneath your right this time. So remember, you've got three options. You've got that hug back towards shoulder blades or more traditional Garudasana with backs of your hands or full palm. So if you're in this variation, it looks like this: a lift of your elbows and an exhale as you drag elbows toward navel. So regardless of the variation, this side as well, we'll do 3 rounds. And inhale to lift and exhale to round. And then exhale to round. Last one on this side. And then go ahead and lift, take your arms out wide. Land your right hand out off your right hip and then left fingertip up and overhead. We're going to find some space for left side body, anchor down through the left hip. We're going to add something on for a little bit more mobility for the shoulder. It looks like this. Exhale, take your left fingertips across body, like you're reaching out from your right knee. Think breathing into left side, like QL, kidney zone, right? And then on your inhale, I want you to trace up the inside of your right arm. Giving a little bit of love to the whole arm right across heart center, and then reach your left fingertips high. Exhale, slowly spicing it up for the shoulders, bringing in some gentle mobility right across your heart. Um, in Chinese medicine, these are, this is working with the lines of the lungs and the heart. So very nourishing for those organs as well. So this time, as you drop your left fingertips down, go ahead and find the top of your right thigh, either to your kneecap or top your thigh, and then sweep your right arm around your low back. And if it's going to work in your practice today, I recommend wrapping forearm around your low back. So you get a little bit of additional opening to the front of your right shoulder. A simple twist. You can keep your gaze right to the right side or on over behind you over your right shoulder. And then go ahead and breathe all the way back to center. Another good spot to swap the crisscross of your feet or ankles if you'd like to. And then here we go. We're going to take the left hand now out off the left hip. Right fingertips reach up and overhead. So remember, we're breathing that space into right side ribs. And then taking a little bit of a twist, right fingertips reach out and off your left knee, and then trace up the inside line of your left arm across your heart and then up and overhead. So you have this little bit of a rotation of the upper body that creates some space in QL and kidney area. And we're also making this really nourishing movement across heart and lung lines, the whole length of your arm. Last round, gentle mobility for the shoulder. And then this time, as you twist, remember your right hand is finding the top of your left thigh. Left hand, I invite you to wrap your forearm around your low back as you drop into a twist. You don't have to grab the upper thigh. I know I just did that. It was kind of habitual, but definitely no need to do that. You can leave your hand resting at your low back. Gaze might turn out over your left shoulder behind you, perhaps. And then go ahead and come all the way back to center. Take a whole breath in and a whole breath out. And just an invitation to notice where strength meets surrender, even in this is just first few brief postures where you really require both of those energies to move through asana practice. How can you soften without collapsing? How can you be strong without tensing? All right, let's roll up and over feet and ankles or sweep your feet around behind you. We're going to meet up at tabletop. So some might want to bring their blankets in. You can rest your knees onto your folded blanket if you'd like. And take your fingertips out wide. We're going to really press the earth away. So cat and cow variation, Bitalasana, but the focus is really on pressing away. So you find a space between your shoulder blades. And then as you drop your navel, think also dropping your heart. So sliding your shoulder blades together, right? And then dropping your navel. So it's not so much of a focus on a spinal extension as it is a shoulder mobility. Exhale to press the earth away. And then inhales, you drop the navel, the heart drops too. So more of a focus on the shoulders than typical in this posture. One more round. Drop your heart as your navel drops. And then as you lift, take your left hand to the center of the mat, right fingertips reach up and away. Exhale to thread all the way on down until you land onto your right shoulder and right ear for thread the needle, Parsva Balasana variation. Perhaps you'd like to extend your left arm up and overhead or even thread it around behind. Depends on what you've got going on for the shoulders, right? This type of movement might feel like too much, so you can stay here and you can leave your left hand down. With the next inhale, everyone's going to land left hand, press the earth away, and right fingertips are reaching high. We're going to take that to the second side. So right hand comes to the center. Left fingertips reach high. So we're starting with a rotation. Lots of space between the shoulder blades. And then go ahead and thread under. So you come to the outside of your left shoulder. Remember, you can stay right here, particularly if you have shoulder mobility stuff going on. If it feels okay, it could be a lift toward the sky or a thread of your right forearm around your low back for another breath or two. And then all variations, go ahead and land your right hand just be on the tip of your nose, press the earth away. We're coming right on back to our tabletop. All right, so make sure you've got enough space on your mat behind you. We're heading toward plank. So I'm going to creep my way forward a little bit on the mat. And it's okay if your hands, your wrists are just slightly out beyond your shoulders. Some folks like to fully stack the joints. And so long as that feels okay for you, that's great. I've got hypermobility in my elbows. So I'm going to go ahead and step my hands and my wrists a little bit forward and then step back 1 foot at a time. Halakasana, a plank pose, press the earth away, sinking into that stability, right? And then exhale, soften the shoulders, reach your hips high and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll take that transition a few more times. So maybe you want to round your back and feel space between your shoulder blades as you lift forward and then draw into the strength and stability at your shoulders. And then exhale on back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. One more round. It's a roll forward, strong and stable shoulders. Scoop your navel up and in. You might lift from the pelvic floor. And then exhale all the way back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale your gaze forward. You can walk up just one footprint at a time. All the way on up. Uttanasana. As you slide up halfway each time, that could be to blocks, to fingertips, or shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale to revisit your fold. And then let's come out with wide wings, nice big circles for the arms, for the shoulders, all the way up to the sky. And breathe your hands down toward heart center. We'll take that movement a few more rounds. So big wide circle for your arms. And then breathe your hands down. Big wide circle for your arms. Breathe your hands down. And then we'll reverse it. So reach your fingertips high, big wide circle out, and then lifting up from the earth towards your heart. Good. 2 more rounds. Last one. Good. Resting in here at Samastitihi. Take a moment to reconnect with your intention. So tuning into that softness as well as strength. Relaxation is who you are. And then on your inhale, take your arms out wide and high. Hinge forward to find your fold, so to fingertips the floor or blocks. It's a lift on your inhale, halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Let's press the palms into the earth and step it all the way back. Hold at plank for a breath and then a second. And then reach your hips high and back right into downward facing dog. Lift your gaze forward, step your right foot forward. I'm just realizing now I've forgotten to bring my my blocks over here. So you could certainly, I like to use the blocks on any of my lunges as like arm extenders. You won't see me pull them in this practice because I forgot them, but you are welcome to have them with you. So stay up on the tippy toes of your left foot behind you, and then inhale your arms up high. So we're in a crescent warrior, which means you're on your tippy toes and the heel is raised at the back. Ashta Chandrasana, big roll of your elbows back in spaces in cactus arms. You can really squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, take your right arm under the left and hug back. So we're right back to those Garudasana arms, remember. And then go ahead and release. Take your cactus arms out wide, reach your fingertips high, right back to crescent warrior. Breathe both hands down toward your heart. This way, actually, so you can see. And now you've got your heel raised. You can go ahead and spin your back heel down. Spin your back heel down. And then take your arms out wide. So we land right into a Virabhadrasana Dwi. That's a second warrior. Okay. Go ahead and land your left hand either to your upper thigh or down beyond your knee. Reach your right fingertips high, an extended warrior, still bending deep into the front knee. And then lift it all the way back towards center. This time, if you'd like, we're going to add a little more opening for the front of the back shoulder. As you reach back, perhaps this left arm comes around your low back. Could bind here, could bind across the top of your front hip. And all the way back to center. Good. Vira 2. Now we're going to add in a little bit of a butterfly flutter. So think like there's some resistance against your palms. We're going to take little bitty flutters like you're pressing down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Back to Vira 2. Reach out long in both directions, strong and stable in your shoulders. And then right arm, forearm comes to the top of your right thigh or down to the earth or block for those that would like. Left fingertips reach up and overhead. We're going to draw big full circles down and around, bringing fluidity, softness to the left shoulder. Reverse the direction. And then right on back to your extended side angle, Parsva Konasana. Let's lift it all the way back to Vira 2. And then cartwheel your arms down. Frame your front foot so you can spin to your tippy toes behind you. We're skipping the chaturanga for now. So stepping back to plank, hold, press the earth away, space between your shoulder blades, and then right on back to downward facing dog. Okay, that's intentional. Of course, if you're dying for chaturanga, you're welcome to add that into your own practice. And then lift your gaze forward. This time around, it's your left foot that leads. And you keep your heel raised up and off the earth behind you. Rise on up at your Ashta Chandrasana, crescent warrior. And remember, we're going into it with these movements for the shoulder. So we start with cactus arm, squeezing the shoulder blades together at the back. And then left arm wraps in underneath your right. It's Garudasana, finding a little space between the shoulder blades. Back on out toward cactus arms. And then a high reach for crescent warrior. Good. Breathe your hands down to your heart to get stable. Could be here or here at your hips. We're taking that high heel at the back and landing it down onto the earth. So we're switching the foundation. Front heel should be about mid-arch. Reach your wingspan out wide for warrior two. Long reach in both directions. And then right arm comes back to either upper thigh or below your knee. Reach your left fingertips high. For the first round, extended warrior. All the way on back to Vira 2. This time, if you'd like, rather than landing to your side, right arm is going to wrap around your low back, perhaps finding the upper thigh of your left leg. And then all the way back towards center. Vira 2. So reaching out long in both directions. Like you've got a little bit of resistance against your palms. It's little butterfly flutters. Not a ton of movement, little bitty butterfly flutters. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Land back to center. Reach out strong and long. And then left forearm comes to your left upper thigh, or if you'd like, if you'd prefer, come on down to the ground or a block. Reach your right fingertips up and overhead. Parsva Konasana. And then big full circles. Again, bringing in the softness of mobility. So if we're all strength, right, in the shoulders, we lose that suppleness of mobility. And if we're all suppleness and flexibility, we lose the stability of the strength. We really rely on the two. So change the direction if you haven't already. And then go ahead and land in to your extended side angle. Take a breath. And then go ahead and lift it all the way back. Vira 2. Take a cartwheel down. Find your tippy toes at the back. Step your left foot on back to meet your right. Let's enter into this next posture this way. Land your knees down. An Ardha Pincha Mayurasana, or Shishulasana, a dolphin pose. Land your forearms down. So palms can be down into the earth, or you can interlace your fingers. Your practitioner's preference here. Toes are tucked under. Hover your hips high and back. Press the earth away through elbows and forearms. For those that would like, you might walk your tiptoes a little bit closer to your elbows. Allow the weight of your head to drop, but you're not landing onto the earth. Check in with your breath. And then start to tiptoe your feet back out if you have not, if you walked them forward, all the way on out toward a raised plank. We're going to do the same thing. So forearms and elbows are pressing away, looking for space between the shoulder blades. And then go ahead and land your hips down. Slide your hands in underneath your shoulders. Take a breath. Option to keep your knees landed, or push up with me, reverse push up all the way up to plank. Now we're going to build in a chaturanga. We've done all this work to create strength here. So knees can land or hover, elbows bend just to the ribs, and then inhale to lift to the tops of your thighs or tops of your feet. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale it all the way back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 3 breaths. Land your knees down to the earth. And then go ahead and walk your fingertips forward. Settle your sits bones back towards your heels. Balasana. Walk both hands out and off the right edge of your mat. You can draw your upper body towards your left hip. Lower your head down. And then go ahead and walk it all the way back through center so that both hands now come out and off the left edge of your mat and your upper body weight drops towards your right hip. Breathing some nice space up the right side body, space between the ribs. And then all the way back to center. Slide your upper body weight forward. We're going to come all the way down onto the belly. Take your wingspan out wide to either side. Keep your palms down, but come on up to your right fingertips and then roll on over to your left side. So you can stay on your fingertips here. Remember, left palm stays face down. You can come back to your right foot like a little bit of a kickstand. You can also take your right arm around your low back if you'd like. Slowly roll it back to center. So if you wound your right arm behind you, go ahead and press your palm forward. Lengthen out both legs, right on back to your belly. Right palm stays facing down this time. Come on up to your left fingertips. Roll to your right shoulder, and perhaps left foot comes back like a kickstand. Maybe it stays here. Maybe left arm wraps around your low back. Let your head rest down to the earth or onto a blanket. And then go ahead and rest your left hand just beyond your heart. Gently roll back on down to the center. Press your palms under your shoulders. Lift on back toward table. You'll leave your hips up high for this next one. Um, and I do like to often take this one with blocks, but I will demonstrate it today without my blocks. But land your elbows down. So it could be onto the earth or onto blocks. Let your palms rest together. And then go ahead and dive down towards your chin or your third eye point with your hips up high, as in Anantasana or Anahatasana rather, or elting pose. If you prefer, you can take your arms extended out long and simply rest your chin or your third eye. And then slowly hover your elbows, walk your palms back. You can sneak your feet around to one side. Um, Anything you know that you'd like to have for Shavasana, I encourage you to have that nearby. We're almost there, just a few more shapes. So we're going to make our way down to the earth. So if you'd like to have bolster or blanket, go ahead and grab that. You can leave your knees bent, roll on down toward the earth. Take a slight roll towards your right, and your left arm wraps around your low back with fingertips reaching toward the shoulder blades. Okay, so rather than reaching toward the kidney, think reaching upward toward the shoulder blades. And then go ahead and rest back to the earth. This might feel like quite enough for you. If you'd like to add the other arm, we're looking for a Gomukhasana type shape in the upper body. So right fingertips can come toward the space between the shoulder blades. Maybe you grip fingertips to fingertips. Your knees can stay bent, or you can extend your legs long. And then all variations, if not already there, find bent knees with both feet planted firmly into the floor. Take your right arm up overhead, unless you've got a big roadblock of equipment there. So right arm reaches up and back overhead. Take a gentle roll towards your right, untangle your left arm, and then rock your knees down towards your left for our last final twist. Left arm comes out wide from your shoulder. So we're in an L shape with the upper body, a little different than our traditional T shape for spinal twist. But certainly, if it's too much for this right shoulder, you're always welcome to take your arm out wide, right? Another breath here. And then go ahead and slide it all the way back to center. So both feet land flat. Slide your right arm down. This time it's a really gentle roll towards your left, and the right arm wraps, forearm wraps toward low back, but then reaches up towards your shoulder blades. and then come on back down to the earth. Remember, you can take this with only the lower arm. If it's very intense, you can stick with that. If you'd like, left hand reaches toward the nape of your neck or between your shoulder blades. Perhaps there's a grip of fingertip to fingertip. We've got Gomukhasana going on in the upper body, and it's here or here with your legs long. And then all variations, step on up to the soles of your feet, if not already there. Take your left arm up and back overhead. Roll gently toward your left so you can untangle your right arm, which comes out wide from your shoulder. And then both knees land down toward your right. So remember, if this L shape is too intense, come on back to the T shape. And then all variations, go ahead and find your way back towards center. If you like, you're welcome to hug your knees in, take a little movement on your low back or any last shape, form, wiggles, or fidgets that you might like before settling down toward your Shavasana, or certainly those that prefer a seated meditation to close the practice. You're welcome to come to a seat there. We'll have a brief integration and relaxation for today's practice. So settle in and soften. You might take a few thuds of your shoulders down onto the earth if you're resting in Shavasana. For those coming toward meditation, perhaps a few gentle rolls with your shoulders forward and back. The Buddha said you only lose what you cling to. Another great one to turn to, another great pearl of wisdom to turn to as we work with this concept of sthira sukha, of both stability as well as softness. So vital for upper body, particularly shoulder girdle. Our shoulders can move in all of the directions across all planes of movement. And so, in this magical ability to be so, so mobile, they have a natural tendency to lose some sense of stability. So, our work is to invite in stability and strength in the shoulders without leading to a clinging, a gripping, right? Or tension. Remember, tension is what you think you should be. Developing that form of strength and stability, the steadiness, the sthira, while also maintaining the required softness and ease. And in your next breath or two, of course, if you're watching this at home and you need a little bit of a longer shavasana, feel free to stay right where you are. Otherwise, for those that are ready, you might roll to one side. We're going to come up and finish the class together. If you're already in meditation, just taking a little bit of gentle movement to reawaken from the practice. And then as you rise to a seat, you can find your hands in any gesture that feels authentic for you. Lots of folks like Anjali or a prayer to close the practice, or you're welcome to take hands over your heart. Rest your head down low and send yourself in lots of loving kindness and gratitude for taking the time to dedicate to your body temple to this practice today. And I thank you so much for joining in. Always a pleasure. And I hope to see you again for practice. And enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao, ciao. See you next time.